Hello guys, welcome back. So in this video we are going to look at how you can input text or anything and display it or use it, right? Then we are going to also look at some buttons in Expo, look at some gesture handlers as well. Alright, so in order not to waste time, let's get into it. Alright, so at the top here I would like to import this text input, right? So there's it, text input, and then right here I'll add a text input, so text input, right? So you can go alongside with the documentation, right? So you can come here and search for text input, right? So right here, text input, so you can see the props it takes and everything. It's a document, proper documentation, you can read on it, right? We also have some examples here, you can look at it and use it, right? So I would like us to copy one, lazy type don't worry. So let's copy and paste it here. Alright, so it has some stylings which we are not yet much interested in. That it has an on-chain function. So quickly I would like us to just type const and then let's give it text, right? And then let's say on change text, right? And then let's set the default value using use state. I'm sure if you are from a React background you already know use state. Don't worry if you don't know. It's actually like a holder or container which used to store items, and then it stores, like, once the app loads, it loads with the item stored in it, and then we can also change it. Whenever we change it, this app, we have something called DOM, is re-render, so that we can update our app whenever we want to, right? So now you can now pass in the value here as text, and then the function here as on change text, right? And then you can give it a placeholder, and then the keyboard type here is numeric. You can change it to, when you leave it like this as a default one, let's check on our this thing. But then before we continue, I would like us to render the text here, right? So curly braces and then the name of the variable, and then this is the function, right? So by default I want us to just give it an empty array. Okay, so whenever you type in something, this set on change text will update the value of the text, right, to whatever we are typing. So now let's use our phone. So you can see useless placeholder. Let me change it to just say enter or enter text, right? So now let's try and enter something. Oops, sorry. So you want to see the don't add, right? You see when we are typing, it's updating, right? So that is how it is. Whenever there is a change, the on text will now update the value inside this text, right? And since you are using the use state, it will re-render the DOM, and then the effect will take place right here, right? So this is how we are going to communicate or input data to our app, right? Yeah, so you can see don't have, see, once we type it updates it, right? Okay, so we can also add some button to it. So maybe you don't want it to update until we are done, and then we press submit, then we update, right? So let's say value Then you can give the function as set value, right? And by default you want to say nothing, or let's leave it as empty string, and at the top here we are going to type value here. So until we press on the button, we don't want to show the thing we are inputting in our input text, right? So now what I want us to do is add a button to it. So let's quickly go top here and import a button from React. So button, okay. So now let's come down here and add it. So button, okay. The button has a title, which is, let's say, submit. Oops. Okay, and then let's give it on press. Okay, and this on press is a function that will be called when we press on the button, right? So let's give it set value, and let's pass in our text, right? So basically we are taking the value inside this text and we now set our set value to that particular. Oops. So here we are supposed to bring our use state. Sorry, so this is it. So now let's press enter. So this here we are calling this anonymous function. We are going to set our value to the text, right? So as you can see on our phone, you can now type something, say the boy is going to school, right? So now once you press on submit, you see, voila, the boy is now going to school is appearing on the screen, right? So this is how you handle buttons. See, this one is a default one, it comes with a default color, right? You can also use different ones. We have touchable opacity. Let's try that one and see. Touchable opacity. So let's come down here and see touchable opacity. Okay, and then inside it, let's give it a text, and let's see touchable opacity. Copy here, right? And then you want to give it some style. So let's say I want to give it a width of 200, and then a height of, let's say 50. Let's see how it is. Okay, now let's give it a background color of green. Oops. Voila. So as you can see on the phone, this is what you're having. It's not much pretty, but then don't worry, I just want you to see the effect. So now let's click on it. You see you are getting some effect on it, but then when you click on the submit button, even though we get some effect, but this one is much. So we can use touchable opacity, right? And then the work of this, so let's just copy this. It also have the same props, so I like to copy, not paste, cut, sorry. So let's use it here. So now let's try and update our text. Instead of going to school, let's say going to market, right? Now once you click on the touchable opacity, voila, you see it has updated it here for us. So the touchable opacity also works the same way. You can also use touchable without feedback, right? So touchable without feedback, right? So as the name implies, it will touch, alright, but then you won't have any feedback on it, right? So let's just, oops, and then this one too, let's replace it a bit and let's save it. Okay, so what the touchable without feedback does is it actually don't have the stylings. I think it has the containers. So let me check. Okay, it has, but then why is it not working? Let's go to the documentation and check out. So we have touchable without feedback. Let me search for it. Touchable. Okay, yeah. So you can scroll through and see how you can style it. Alright. So here are some few props. Okay, let's see how it was being styled. Okay, so if you want to style it, you have to wrap the content inside it with, so let me bring the styles back and then cut it, and then inside here view, we're going to use view. Oops. And then now we put, you wrap the view, the text with the view, right? Now let's save it. You see, we are getting it back. So it also has its own features. So you have to always be communicating with the documentation, because they are things, they do change things for us, right? So let's try it and see. You see, we are not getting any effect on the container. So let's say hi, and now let's click on it. You see, it's working, but then we don't have any feedback on it, right? And we also have pressable. So pressable is also like the, say, it's almost like the touchable. Oops. That's what I want to do. Okay, so now when you click on it, it works, but then you don't get any effects on it. So let me say hello, and let's click on it. You see, it gets updated, but then it's not giving us any feedback, right? And also we have some functions as long press, on long press, right? So maybe you don't want to just, it's this, it works as the pressable, but then that one, it's the text, or it calls the function when you have a long press on the button, right? So let's say hello Patrick, right? He's a good friend. So when you click on it, you see it doesn't get updated, right? But then let's press and hold, you see Patrick. Okay, I think I should use the touchable opacity so that you can see what I'm trying to say. Touchable opacity. Let's bring it here, right? Let's see. Okay, so here let me say hello detailer, right? Don't know if I got it right. Okay, so you see when you click on it, nothing happens, but then when you click and hold long press, you see you get the text being changed, right? So we have a different couple of touchable or gesture handlers. We'll look at them when we are working on the chat app, right? So the next thing I want us to look at is, let me first clear these things out a bit. Okay, so I want us to look at a couple of things as well. We have modal here, we have images, which we will look at. We also have, we talked about button, we have FlatList here. So quickly let's look at FlatList. So at the top here, I want to just create a data, right, which is an array. Oops. And inside this array, I will just create an ID and give it 1. Oops, 1, and give it a value of just a name. So let me say Fafa, and then let me duplicate it. This one, let me give it Ubed. Started my shoutouts, right? And let me see Patrick, and then detailer, right? And then who else? The names keeps boring, so let me say Christian. Let me give a shout out to myself. So oops, Christian, right? Now let's change the values to 3, 4, and then 5, right? So we are going to use the flat list, so let's quickly, we're not using these ones anymore, so let's quickly flat list, then let's come here, flat list, oops, flat list. So what the flat list does is we're going to use it to display an array of data, right? So as you can see here, a list of data, and then we don't want to hard code everything here, we just want to display it as it shows here. So we are going to have the data equals our data, right? And then let's add the render item, right? Oops. Right, good, and then let's pass in our item here. So here we just want to use the text, oops, and inside the text we want to tap into the item dot value, right? Because for each item you have an ID and a value. So let's see. So as you can see on my screen, you see it's stuck at the top there. So let me come here and then add some status bar here, and then let me bring it. So let me just use the view, right? Let me give it a style. Let me see the height, just to give some space here. I don't want us to use the status bar because later we'll be adding a couple of things to it. Let me check. Oh, the status bar. Okay, I think I have some issue with my phone settings. That's why I don't want us to use the status bar for now. But then I think it's now fine. You can see it. So Fafa is the first one, followed by Obed, Patrick. So we are listing the items, right? And then we can, so this is how we can actually list items. And then see now it's listing it vertically, right? So you can see horizontal, right? Just horizontal. You see now it's listing them in the row section, right? So this is how it is. But then you can also set it to false, right? You set it to false by default one, right? Yeah, so once you pass the props as a single, this one it takes it as a true value for it. So you see, and then when you comment it out, you see. So that is how you can list items, right? You work with it, don't worry. I'm just trying to explain how it works, then I think we'll be good to go. And then the next thing I would like to touch on is you also have the scroll view, right? It also works like the flat list, so don't worry, you look at it